Howdy folks, Bill the Tractor Man here. We're going to do a quick video on the propane sensor in the camper I got here. This will pretty much go across the board for all these campers. To start off with here, before we do anything with this propane sensor, if it's going off, make sure your propane tanks, if they're on the front of the camper, the back of the camper, make sure they're turned off. We don't want any propane gas getting into the camper if there is a leak. With this particular sensor, it sits in here like this. This is a Detector made by Atwood. It's an LP gas detector. This sensor has a green light, a yellow light, and a red light. The green light is normal, that it has power to it. The yellow fault light means there's a problem with the sensor, and the red light means there's an alarm. The light is right here. This test button, when there's power to it, should emit a high-pitched sound. So, if your alarm here is going off, the first thing you want to make sure is your propane tanks are turned off and that there is not a gas leak. One thing you can do is open your camper door if you smell gas, or if you were already in your camper and you didn't smell gas, then you can safely move on to checking your sensor if there is no gas and your camper is aired out. If you do smell gas, you want to shut off your propane tanks and leave the camper alone until that gas can dissipate. Leave it alone for a day, at least, would be my recommendation. Don't try to turn on any electronics or anything like that. Just get away from it. Or call your fire department to assist you in a situation if there is a gas leak. Probably your best bet would to call a local fire department or RV specialist repair that'll come and deal with it, because LP gas can be very explosive. So, in the case of this sensor, it was doing a high-pitched squeal, and it had a yellow fault light on. So what I did is I took and I reset the sensor by removing power and putting power back to it. The green light flashed, and after a little while it went back to yellow and it was a fault. So I did some research. I found that with these sensors, that over time they do go bad. This particular sensor has about a 5-year lifespan. These sensors bring in a lot of dust and dirt and debris, which is why their lifespan is so short. If you're in really dusty conditions or something like that, that doesn't help at all. So, if it's just the fault, in that case, then you'll have to, you can press your test button. That might not make a difference. But if you have a fault light, usually the sensor is bad. You want to remove power before you do anything about pulling this out of its place. I happen to pull the fuse. I have a picture that I'll show you at the end where in this particular camper, it's a Dutchman camper, where the fuse was located in this one. Quickly here, these sensors have about a 5-year lifespan is what I found out. This particular one has a manufacture date on the back, and that is January of 2005. This sensor has lasted twice as long as it is expected to. So we are going to just go ahead and replace it. Whether it was good or bad, or I tested it wrong, we're just going to go ahead and replace it because it's outlived its lifespan. We don't want for this particular sensor to fail and then have an LP leak and then have an explosion or something bad go on. Because for me, I can't smell anything that doesn't, I rely on this sensor a lot, or a smoke detector. So you'll pull this sensor out. It should have a hot lead and a ground lead. You'll want to leave these connected until you have your new sensor and you know which, your hot and your ground are. In this sensor's particular case, the black would be ground and the red would be our hot line. And from the camper, it's a blue line that goes into the hot, and it's a white line for ground. So you don't want to mix that up. So that's a quick little interesting bit of information about these LP gas detectors. This one is a Protector by Atwood. Other than it failed, I have no complaints. I mean, it lived twice as long as it was supposed to. So that's all, folks. Thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, and subscribe. And if you have any more RV camper related questions, don't be afraid to ask. I have this wonderful camper here that I can do demonstrations in for a while yet.